Okay. I got bids here. Byron was wanting to look into I call it a speedy mover or dirt scraper or whatever, so you can take the motor off and use it to smooth things up. There's some bids that we've received on them. Kind of hoping we got a used one, but anyway.
Does he know which one he wants?
A 10-footer.
10-footer? I'll take it that's the least expensive one, huh? No, there.
Not yet.
Why is one $1,000 cheaper than the other?
I don't know. I hadn't heard of this brand. I looked it up, and it's a company that's made out of south central Nebraska. So, and he was going to be going up there to a sale and interested in bringing it back. So, but all of them are pretty simple, maybe as far as
Should
it
be.
goes. But some of them,
It's hard to see $1,000 difference from one to the other.
yeah, Brown, Speedy Mover, and there's some other brands. But anyway.
And that is a box scraper, right?
The box scraper, yep.
What does he pull it with?
The Alice tractor we have over there. So, I didn't know what your thoughts was, so. He's wanting it so he could smooth up some of his roads and trails and stuff like that, and then when he cover the C&D, you know, he could dress that up with it. And they say just drop the mower off, probably leave it on there the rest of the season, maybe take snow off or whatever we need, so that's his thinking. So,
And I take it you have the funds available, or he has the funds available in there?
yeah, sitting pretty good there.
That's delivered.
So,
I'd be
He
okay.
said he'll go pick it up for that, bring it.
that's the way I interpreted it from Byron, so. He's gonna attend another auction or something up that direction, and pick one up, so.
I don't know what used ones are worth.
What's that?
I don't know what a used one brings.
A few years ago, I know I paid $1,100 for a 12-footer, so.
Seems like I saw one somewhere for sale.
And then I had to replace the hoses and work on the cylinder, so, you know. Rebuild the wheel bearing, so that does look pretty reasonable then, so.
You said that was the brand you'd seen before?
I have not seen this
You've
brand,
not seen it.
Westhoff or whatever it was, so. Like I say, I did go on the internet and look, see where it was at and stuff, so.
Seems a lot cheaper.
$1,000 is $1,000.
You're saying to buy the used one,
Well, no, the lower bid.
the lower bit. Oh,
And that's a new one.
And that actually wound up being new, which, with anything else, that kind of raised some red flags, but a box scraper, you can't think there'd be that much difference between A and B, or, I wouldn't think. Because he's talking new tires, cylinders, and hoses.
Well, I guess he can try it. If he didn't like it, he can throw it in the landfill.
We'll have Dave fix it.
Scrap iron coming up, huh?
I take it he
He's pretty
researched
close
it.
to there.
I take it he researched that some.
What's that?
I take it he researched it, so he,
You're talking about Byron.
yeah,
Yeah.
Byron, yeah.
And that's the reason I called the two local ones, see if they had anything. That's the reason I wrote theirs in there, so.
Well, did Byron have a preference of what he would rather?
He thought that one from Ken would be fine, so.
I kind of think so too.
Well, I move that Byron purchased the one from Ken Curtis
Equipment, okay.
for 2,000.
It's 2,000 and, he's got it.
I'll second that.
Okay, let me get the numbers back so we can get it down correct.
Okay.
Might want to read just that top part, kind of explain a little better, or I could read it to everybody, however you want to do that, so. Unless you want me to wait.
Let's wait till Scott gets back so he
Okay.
doesn't miss
Okay.
anything here. Okay, we have a motion to go ahead and accept a bid from Ken Curtis Equipment for a new box-type scraper for the amount of $2,050. And I think we have a motion to go ahead and accept that, and a second.
Correct.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed, same sign. Okay.
Terry's reading the paper where I asked Gerald if we was to take out that bridge south of the St. Francis feedlot, you know, on Range Line there. You know, we discussed it, we had to lower the rating on that. And I mentioned we had a 6-foot culvert, and then he made some other comments in there.
Well, I could just read it to you. It says, "I have attached a map and a statement report for FSA 290. I think the draining area might be a little smaller than it is showing, as I doubt much water goes from the west side of Road 11 to the east side. Anyway, the draining area is being shown as around 2 square miles. You do not need to get permits for anything under 3 square miles. It looks to me like a 6-foot culvert would handle at least a 10-year frequency rain event. We are showing the existing bridge has 100 square foot of waterway opening. Thus, you would be decreasing the size by quite a bit. But sounds like this is not really an issue at this location. You could put an arched culvert in, which would be better for cattle and also keep the height the same. A 112-inch by 75-inch arch pipe would have a total opening size of 47 square feet compared to 28 square feet with a 27-inch culvert. Thus, it would handle quite a bit more flow." And that's from Gerald DeBoer from Penco Engineering.
So if you guys are agreeing with that, I'll probably start getting bids on an arch culvert. It's going to be probably twice higher than a 6-footer, but they get it all on the,
Hey, where exactly is that?
I'm sorry, this is south of the St. Francis feedlot. Right on the Range Line.
See, there's Calcrates.
Yeah, so it'd be about right in here.
Okay. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
And it is a visit with Eric Farmer. He owns both sides of it now, and he wants to run cattle through it, so
Who does?
Eric Farmer.
He wants to run cattle through it?
You know, there's that pivot on that west side,
Yeah.
and he's gonna just have that for pasture. He's not gonna run it. He's not gonna farm it anymore.
He bought that
Sometime, yeah, the last year.
from Swires?
Skips.
Really?
So
Well, I might be wrong, but I think the water probably runs from the east side to the west side, not west to the east.
But you'd have to see this drainage map. It showed a pretty big square area. So there wasn't too much that comes from the west, I think is what he's talking about. But most of it comes from the east, further up that draw, all mostly east of the range line, so. So I'll go ahead and get bids if that's what you agree with everybody.
So you're looking at the arch?
The arch culvert. And when I say an arch, it's basically a squash tube is what it is. It's not one that we have to assemble. So,
And you install it?
yeah.
I have no problem, it just doesn't seem like it's in the right place. Seems like that bridge shays have the ground on the west side of it.
What's that now?
Shay has the ground on the west side.
The first quarter that he just bought off of, I can't say the name, Jewel, was it? Yeah. Yeah. And that would match up, the north side of Shays would match up with the south side of the lot itself, the feedlot itself. And then see Ryan has that quarter south, and then Eric would own that next quarter.
But I don't understand how Eric's gonna take cattle from one side to the other
Well, he'd be running through the tube.
onto Shay.
No, the tube would actually be on his property, between his two properties there. There is a 3-foot culvert, I think, between him and Shay, a little further north. But the bridge itself
The bridge itself
is between the two of them, yeah. It is between, the farmer has both sides of it, so.
The cattle could walk through that?
Yeah, we generally put in 6-foot culverts, and see, this would be just a little more
cattle
height.
never went through there before.
Because you had two different owners, and then the bridge also restricts it quite a little, and then we got the bridge was put in 1950 is what it says, so it's a 70-year-old bridge. Then we had, it was a single span originally, and probably 20 years ago, we drove another row of piling, to get it last a little longer, and, made it 2-span, so we basically doubled the strength on it, but we still got crushing on the piling. That's what they come out with last month and said we need to post it as a 18-ton load limit with a single axle truck. So, it's like no need of fighting it. You might as well just
Yeah.
advance it, get rid of it. It was overbuilt anyway. It was way bigger than it needed to be. So, you go with the culvert. So, okay, I'll go ahead and get bids on that. This last one, what we had 5 years ago, we had to do the spill prevention, control, and countermeasure. And I'm not sure you guys would have been involved, but anyway, it's
familiar with
fuel
it.
tanks and everything, inspections and the plan, and everything like that. The only company to do it was this Midwest Training or whatever, Midwest Training and Consulting Service. So every 5 years, he's got to come around and inspect them, stuff like that. I thought it would be a lot cheaper, and I complained to him. The total bill is $2,840 on this, $2,840.
Just for the inspection part of it.
Yep, and I said, wait a minute, you worked with other counties and stuff like that? And so
But he's staying with it.
he's staying with it. He says the normal fee is for a PE certified plan, which when we first started coming out with it, I drafted one, and then they had to improvise it. And then he said the 5-year plan is $1,640. It includes the $500 for a professional engineer. He said his normal charge for a non-PE SPCC plan is $900, but I charge you $600 for Bird City. That leaves $600 for traveling time from Olathe to St. Francis, one way, no mileage. So, said sorry for the surprise, but he did consideration of the other work that was done. I know he inspected other counties, but so I think next 5 years come around, they'll probably, the bunch of counties will group up and get some bids from, so that everybody do
Try
it
to share some
individually.
costs there while they're out here.
Yep. So, anyway, they revised this book. We're up to snuff as far as that goes. We got Bird City and St. Francis inspected. We're good there. It just seemed a lot higher than I thought it should have been.
But we're still committed to, because the work's been done.
Yeah, yeah, so. Expected about half of that, but I guess.
Yeah, everything's going up. Expected to pay half for a pound of hamburger too, but it don't work.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, Dave. Thank you.
Welcome.
Have a wage agreement for motor vehicle clerk.
And this was the last interview she was telling us about last time she was in here, or is this something totally
The
different?
one she wanted or got approval for would not return a call, so she went with the next person. Is what I was told.
Somebody new to the area?
I believe she lives in Dorothy Carpenter's house. By me. That's what I've been told anyway. I've never seen her before. Till now.
And this is the one with the treasure, right, with Dolores?
Do I hear a motion to go ahead and approve the wage agreement?
I'll make a motion to approve it, the wage agreement.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any other business?
Not that I know of.
I'd ask for, 10 minutes of executive for advice of counsel.
Okay. We're pretty well wrapped up.
This is it? Okay. Thank you.
All right, Elmer.
Motion for 10 minutes of executive session
Second.
All in favor?
for the attorney.
Aye.
Aye.